and welcome back to the Four Random Guys podcasts. It's been a while since we've been here.
It has, yes.
Yeah, it's been like almost 3 weeks, probably about 3 weeks, I think.
I would assume so. Our last podcast was it before Thanksgiving?
Yes. I think it was right before. Yeah, it was right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, because we had Thanksgiving topics on it, I know that.
Yeah. Yep, and it's been a while because we've had scheduling problems between works and all this and schooling.
And if I'm right, you got your wisdom teeth out, correct?
Yeah, I had my wisdom teeth taken out right after our last podcast, so that sort of threw a rock in between schedules because I couldn't talk for a while.
Jesus. Well, okay, so my question is, I got my wisdom teeth out probably, I would venture to say it was 2-3 months ago now, but when you went there, were you nervous when you were driving there, or you were really nervous when you were sitting in the chair, the hype up to it?
I wasn't necessarily nervous in the car ride there. I was just thinking it's just gonna be another hour or so until I'm back in that car.
Okay.
And then I got into the office. I just sat there and waited for a minute. And that was the most nerve-wracking part. Was just sitting there knowing and just waiting. So, and then after that, once they brought me back, the nurse and the surgeon sort of calmed me down. Laughy gas did the trick.
Knocks you out.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this. If anybody heard that on the actual podcast, I did shift my chair. That's why I was just joking with you on this. Because, getting used to this feel where I'm, looking at John through a microphone right now, it looks kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
So I just moved it over. So I'm just going to say this to you guys. Just so you know, we have a new condenser microphone in the studio. We're official shit now. But we have a HyperX Quadcast microphone. If we have any things that we want to leap out of the situation, we can always do that. But the nice thing is now is all of our audio is extremely clean, and we hope that fixes a lot of the issues that we had before. The echo was a really bad thing in some of our stuff, so we're really, really hoping that fixes it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So going back to the wisdom teeth thing, what is the last thing you remember before you went out cold turkey?
Well, my surgeon was half my height. She was an older lady.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 40s, I'm gonna guess. And she sort of laid me back in the chair, told me everything's gonna be okay. She's just gonna put this little nozzle breathing tube on my nose. And when I was lied back, and told me to just breathe through my nose, not my mouth anymore. And then I did that, and she started off with oxygen and laughy gas. She told me. And it would make me feel more tingly, not really numb, but just tingly, but I still couldn't feel much.
Yeah.
So once I started to feel a bit tingly, some 3 more doctors and dudes came in. One told me to clench my arm and put an IV in me, and then I just remember looking up, and then I was out.
Jesus, I had the same experience, but the weird thing is when they gave me that first gas, that whatever that was, she's like, okay, you're gonna feel a little bit tingling. I'm okay, but it got to the point where I was they're you're really, really supposed to concentrate on that, and you're not supposed to breathe any outside air at all. And it got to the point where I was sitting there, I'm getting lightheaded because you're inhaling that so much. Did you get that?
No, I didn't really feel that.
I don't, unless you're mixing it with some weird shit, I don't know, but it was really scary at one point because it was you were sitting there in the chair and it was just all normal. Oh, did you get the hat, the gown, and everything?
No, they never did any of that for me.
You went to the one in next to a log cabin?
Yeah, I went there and they didn't. They just told me to put my mask. The lady told me to put my mask on the table or on the table on the side and stuff. I did that. They must have done that when I was asleep.
Oh.
Because they never put anything on me except for the breathing tubes and the IV.
They must have not cared about me because the moment they walked in, she just sits down and she's just sitting there and she's let's just go through all this stuff, and she has you do those forms again, the digital ones, on the iPad.
Yep.
And you go through that stuff, and then she puts this this little shower cap kind of thing on. She puts this full gown. I'm not even nervous for the surgery now. I'm just nervous about what all this shit is on the side of it. It's kind of scary, honestly.
It's kind of fun with that little thing they make you sign. Like, I don't know if I didn't actually read that part. Like, if when you sign it, if you're telling them like if they mess up or something, it's not their fault or whatever.
Basically, if they kill you, it doesn't matter. It wasn't their fault.
How is it their fault? They're the only ones in the room, and I'm knocked out.
That's what I asked myself the same question. I'm like, how the fuck are they not at fault when they're the ones that are putting me on and bringing me back up from this stuff? I'm like,
Yeah.
You're either at fault or you're not at fault. I said, if I'm in the room with a needle, I said, you're pretty much at fault for this.
Yeah, regardless of whether I signed that form or not, if I wake up with no teeth in my mouth, I'm suing them.
No, I mean, you can't. You signed the paper.
Oh, no, that's
saying
exactly.
you can't.
Yeah, it's a legal statement, which is just like, it's crazy.
Doesn't matter what happens. You signed that, it's your fault.
So I joked about this. I kept telling like a few of the guys that I work with, I said, if I wake up as a woman, I'm suing them. And they're like, you're not going to say that. I swear to God, I swear to both of you, the moment that she put that cap on and the moment that IV went in my arm, I looked bluntly at the doctor, put my head up, and I said, if I wake up as a woman, it's your fault. I swear to God, if you go back there and you ask one of them, that was like the first few things they told me that I said before I came out. They're like, was it the gas? I'm like, no, it wasn't the gas. It was just me giving you guys shit for it. It was the best experience I've had for wisdom teeth. I'd do it again. Let's just go for it.
The only thing that I remember, like, the only thing I've been told that I told somebody when I was still on the gas, I don't remember any of this. I don't remember anything until I got home out of the car.
Oh, really?
I remember getting out of the car and trying to walk and stuff by myself, and I fell straight back into the grass.
Seriously?
I stood up out of the car and I'm still going to walk by myself.
I didn't have that issue. I think that, so I can remember everything that happened after that, but like, I didn't know what I was saying after that. Like, that's the issue that I had. My dad's like, you kept saying to the doctors that again and again and again that you would do it again. And they're like, Zach, what teeth do you want us to take out of your face? We've already taken all 4 of your wisdom teeth out of your face. So my dad's like, he's like, you kept saying this over and over again. And he's like multiple times. And he's like, then you kept saying, thank you for taking me to this. Thank you for being here with me and all this other crap. He's like, I had to drive you. He's like, I couldn't leave you there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, you were on gas. I can't really control that. I'm like, whew, it's just that you don't know, and it's kind of funny.
Like, I remember waking up, like, it was like how you normally wake up in the morning, like, your eyes are, like, just still dragging, and you keep opening them and closing them until you're fully awake.
Yeah.
And then, from what I heard, I must have told my mom, she was the only one in the office with me besides the nurses and stuff. The nurses never heard any of this, but I must have told my mom that one of the ladies or nurses looked like an eagle.
Oh, God,
Like
you told me about this in a text message.
Yeah, like, they looked like a giant eagle, like, just like in The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, how they ride the giant eagles. I was going to ask the nurse if I could ride her, like they do in those movies.
Can we get that on a t-shirt? John asked a nurse if he could ride her.
Ride the nurses.
I don't want to be weird about this. Just like halfway when you walk in, there's go, hey, I'm back here. When you're like in your 60s or 70s, you have to get like dentures for them or something. Like, hey, do you remember that nurse that I asked if I could ride her? Just like really bluntly go like, shit, I know I asked if I could ride one of you. Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm glad I didn't ask the nurse because it probably wouldn't have been seen as a appropriate thing, or the way I was seeing it.
Well, see, that's the weird thing though too. Is I'm like, God, I feel like such a schmuck because I said like dumb shit to the nurses, and so one of the times that I called because I asked about just some things that I wanted to know after post surgery, and one of them is like, they're like, you're not the only one that's done weird shit after coming off the gas. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, we're literally paid to screw you up halfway through your surgery just to come out of that. She's like, we've had one of our own oral surgery personnel that had to go under and said weird shit too. They're like, you're not the only one, so don't act like you are. I'm like, okay.
I just didn't want to wake up, like, if you've ever seen Duck Dynasty, the TV show.
I have seen it once or twice. Yes.
Like, there was an episode where Willie's kids, John Luke and Sadie, They both got their wisdom teeth taken out, and John Luke just woke up and was saying the most random stuff like Bumblebee tuna.
Jesus Christ.
Over just all the weird stuff like bend over, I'll show you.
Oh Jesus! I think my cousin was the one that said that he's like, hey, if you want, I can run by, get a few X-Acto knives and a little bit of any kind of alcohol you want, and we can just do it ourselves. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. I want your knee on my arm as you're ripping the teeth out of my face and bleeding out.
Didn't you wake up with a footprint on your shoulder?
Oh my God, you joke about that, but you know what? Who cares? We're gonna dive into the story because this is interesting. For all of you listening today, thank you for joining us. This is our first topic of the day, was our wisdom teeth, because we thought it'd be interesting. If you don't, and if you haven't gone through this before, it is definitely... Hey, definitely. There we go. No, but... Oh yeah, okay, no, I was going... Sorry about that for anyone that was listening. That was just the awkward moment of me fixing the springs on our boom stand, and I feel really official saying boom stand now, but it's cool. Okay, so before going back to that, so what I was going to say is getting your wisdom teeth out, it's definitely not as bad as people think that it is.
Yeah, it's really talked up.
Like, people are like, yeah, I knew a guy that died from getting his wisdom teeth out. It's like, what? Was he like on his death row going into the thing? Like, it's not bad. They literally do this. They're like, well, and don't worry, you need to listen to this, Corbin, as a good talking point for future. So that you know. Do you have a day where you know when you're getting yours out?
I have no idea. We haven't planned anything like that yet.
Do you have to?
Most likely, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not as bad. I've heard so many traumatic stories off of it, and it's like, it's not nearly as bad as it was. I was stressed out over it when I went into it, and it was, like, a really scary thing for it, but I'm like, after getting out of it, it was not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Even just the pain and stuff that people think is really horrible and all that, because it is an oral surgery, it's still not as bad as what you'd think.
Oh, yeah. Like, right after I got out of the surgery, I broke every rule I could possibly do. I literally went over, I took a water floss pick and just started opening my stitches. I drank as much soda as I possibly could. I purposely got dry socket from eating all these crappy foods that I could possibly do. I mean, I literally did everything I could.
Honestly, never drank a liquid in a week.
God, seriously?
No.
Not even water?
No, I was joking.
Oh, you said that you had issues with, like...
No, I was joking.
Oh,
I thought you were joking.
I was joking, too.
Yeah, that's not... That.
Oh, God, I got scared there for a second. I'm like, did you seriously not drink any liquids for a week?
Screw salt water.
Oh, shit. No. Do you get that experience where you did so many saltwater swishes that you actually did not taste the salt by the end of the week?
I didn't do it that often. I did it like every 4 hours, and then I did the pills every 6 hours. Like, the salt water, I still taste the salt. That's the worst. The bottom was the worst because all the salt built up in the bottom.
Well, no matter how much you stir it, once you get to the bottom, if you're not doing it fast enough, then you get like that club. It's like
yeah, like don't even swish it around the mouth. Just spit it.
Just take a chunk of salt after you pour out of the shaker and just crunch on that crap. Like, they're like, you need to do salt water. Well, okay, so the question I have, did you ever have issues with the dry socket thing?
No, I never had any issues with dry socket or any issues afterwards.
Yeah, that's, like, I've had a few people that told me that they're like, yeah, well, it was really, like, I got this one friend at work that I made as a work friend because she was working in the same department, and she was like, yeah, my boyfriend got dry socket. I'm like... Did he follow the rules? And she's like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm like, did he do any smoking or drinking, that kind of stuff? And she's like, yeah, he was an avid smoker. I'm like, that's his issue. I was like, okay, you're not really seeing the whole side of this. It's like, that's literally one of the things they tell you not to do before and after surgery for like almost 4 days.
Yeah.
So like, I continued to smoke a Cuban after I got out of the surgery. And the first few things I did, I just woke up, I was stoned out of my ass, and I just smoked a Cuban. You know, it was the best way to do it.
That's the way to go.
All right, so shall we get to the topics, boys?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's hit it.
So, Corbin, you want to tell us what our first topic is today?
Was the moon landing staged?
Was it?
Opinions on that.
Was it staged?
Let's start with you, Corbin.
I don't really have much to say because I don't really know much about it. I just know there was the conspiracy theories of it being staged.
There was.
But there wasn't like actual proof.
Well, that's true. That's
Boy,
true.
we should have researched this before we went in.
I guess we should have. I mean, a little
Yeah.
bit. We can come back to this a different day, I guess.
Yeah, this might be one to come back to after we read stuff about it, or at least have more of an opinion on it.
Well, so I'll give a jump off of this, and then we can come back to it a different day as another topic. But the conspiracy theory behind it, there's so many conspiracy theories. I feel like there should have been one that we did in the last podcast.
Oh yeah, that would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Well,
A spooky one.
We're gonna act like we didn't do this. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the conspiracy theory behind it was basically that they filmed the moon landing on Earth in different areas of the world. Different like locations it could have been in. But some people say, yeah, it was in like NASA's basement or Hollywood's basement or just like some weird crap. And it's been a big conspiracy theory around it. So
Wasn't there like a shadow or something that got filmed and they were like,
yeah.
how did that happen if it was in space?
Well, it was the shadow. It was the jump that the astronauts took on the moon that didn't look real, and then they said they're like, if the flag was actually on the moon, the United States flag on the moon, that what would happen is because of low gravity, the flag wouldn't move, and they predicted it as like the flag moving, and it's like. Well, in that kind of gravity, the flag would just go like this. It would just sit there and, like, barely move at all. So, I don't know. Alright, so on our next podcast, we'll come back to this again. We're going to have a special guest on our next podcast. I'm confirming this. We have about 5 people lined up that we're taking out of a pool at the moment, and we definitely will have them on the show for our next one. But we're going to bring this up when we have some more people in the group here, so...
Yep. Oh, and there's also going to be that giveaway for that next podcast.
That's true. I actually completely spaced the fact that we were doing a giveaway in the next podcast. We have 2 brand new from our merch people to go through. We have 2 stocking caps with our logo. They look awesome. If it weren't for the fact that I have to do a giveaway for them, I would probably steal them myself, honestly. And then we also... So whoever goes in the show... We'll get a free stocking cap with our logo on it. And then we're also going to give away 1 more stocking cap and a t-shirt. So we got 2 different things to give away, and then 1 thing also to give away for the person that's on the show. And then whoever's on the show will actually get to give away the products and do our spin the wheel on the show. So
Yeah, lucky them.
that's true. All right, so let's go to John with this. John, next question here. Go ahead.
Okay, so the next question or topic for us is, what tech do you wish existed today?
Okay,
Is there
John.
any... Oh boy, I'm going to start this off.
We're gonna make you go real deep into this real fast. Go ahead.
Alright, so I'm not going to go right into like video game things.
Okay.
I'm going to go more into the movie side of it. You guys know those hoverboards from Back to the Future?
Oh, that'd be so
yeah.
dope.
Compared to the actual hoverboard, in
That was-
finger quotations, hoverboard.
Oh, I know, that was
2
so
wheels.
stupid.
I don't even. That's false advertisement. Like the hoverboards that we have. It has 2 wheels. It's
They're not
not
advertising that it hovers. They're just naming it the hoverboard.
Well, I mean, it's
Okay,
named a
but
hoverboard, but
it-
you'd expect
I
it to
don't. They
hover.
never say like it actually hovers. They just
Yeah, I know, but when you put it in the name as hoverboard,
make people want to buy it.
yeah, like,
It's not advertising it though.
and if you're gonna make it like a,
I should call my car the hover car. So it'll be more attractive.
because it's floating approximately a foot off the ground. It's got wheels, but the wheels, nope, that's hovering. That's a hoverboard. It's a hover car. We're living in the next generation of hover cars.
You sell the first hover car. Take that, Tesla.
Oh, well, no, do you see that? Don't mind the dog barking in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. The mic is pretty dang sensitive today, but I do like it. So, the one thing I want to know your guys' opinions on, this is tech that will probably come out. It doesn't actually exist right now, but it's getting there. The one tech piece was Elon Musk is actually trying to invent a chip that goes into your arm near your shoulder blade area. So actually not your arm, but but it goes into your shoulder blade area, and what happens is it's actually goes probably 2 to 3 inches deep in your arm. It's a very small microchip, but then what it does is that basically you can control things around like your daily, that sort of things like say you're going to like open your garage door, you just think about that and your garage door opens, or like some dumb thing like, oh, I left the stove on at my house, I'm gonna turn that off. It's like
So how is like the software built into all those objects then?
See,
that's my guess. That's like what I'm.
I know
confused
the
about.
one thing they've looked at now is all the smart devices.
Yeah.
So you know like how, like the smart kitchen devices. Have you
Yeah.
seen those?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if it's like a smart fridge or a smart like stove, that kind of stuff, that's how it would work. But if you don't have the stuff to support it, it doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference.
So it's like almost Bluetooth. But
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a smartphone in your arm, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just really advanced. I mean, it's cool.
It's gonna cost a lot though to program everything though.
Oh, I know. It'll
That's
be
weird.
insane.
That'd be a good way to make money.
Yeah, Elon Musk doesn't need any more money.
That is very
Well, you see, right now that Bezos has the highest net worth, and they were
Yeah.
talking about how if he gave away like 1 billion to each person, not 1 million, a billion, because his net worth is approximately like 200 a bill at the moment. I believe I can look that up. You know what? I'll look that up right now. Hold on. But they said if he gave away $1 billion to every single person on the earth, that he would still have like almost $100 billion left. Like, what? And you're telling me if this dude gave away that much money to every single person on the entire earth, not just like a few people, everyone, because the earth's population is at like 8 to 10 billion? So it's like, that's insane. This dude could literally give away his wealth and still have like pretty damn good chunk of wealth left over.
I think it's even less than that. So he would, like, it's like 7 something bill right now.
That's about it. I'm pretty
So
sure.
I think
It's around eight.
he'd be spending a lot less, or a little less, but that's still a lot of money.
Oh, okay. So his net worth was 20 bill under what I thought it was. So small error there.
Small error.
His net worth is currently $182 billion, which means that he could give away 80... So let's see, 1 second here. So the Earth's population at the moment,
It's like 8 bill.
7.8 bill. So
Yeah.
literally meaning he could give away a pretty dang good chunk of his wealth and still have a lot left over. If we're figuring that, the dude would have $174 billion left after that. Jesus. And he's going to make it back in a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to this tracker chip, John, what's your opinion of this? Do you think it's invading personal privacy security, or do you think that it's kind of cool?
Well, as long as it only serves that purpose to do like the Bluetooth things, like the garage and stuff like you mentioned, like as long as it's not like one of those chips. I forgot what the movie's called. It's like Experiment 5 something or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
where all the workers in this building have like a small chip like that in the back of their head, but if they explode.
Oh, that was whack. I saw that movie. It was so gross.
Yeah, so like as long as the chip in your shoulder only serves that purpose of the Bluetooth and it can't do anything like big like that, I would say I'm good with it.
So
People could want to pay for it. It's on them.
if it's software based, there's nothing saying it can only do like what it's meant for. It's never going to only do what's meant for. There's gonna be the people that program it
Well, exactly.
for otherwise.
And like the one thing that I'm scared of that, I like new tech. I'm a freaking geek for new things. Like I had, shout out to I'm just gonna do this again because we don't give a crap about who we shout out on this thing. The one thing I've always wanted since I was younger was, I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a one-wheel board, and it's like a go-kart tire with a balancing thing. Thought they were really cool, but they're $1,800. Well, so I like all that kind of like the techie stuff on that side of it, and all like the software behind it. But now you're talking about like a chance of people literally hijacking your body with a chip.
Yeah.
Like they talked about how it can watch your heart rate, control watch your blood pressure, all this other stuff. It's
There's
like
things for that. It's not like we need it
it's not like we need a chip in our body for that. Like,
I think it's completely unnecessary in my opinion, but
I agree with you on that. I think
it's unnecessary.
I think it's just scary, and it's like if we start just being okay with that, this one, and this was a real thing too. We talked about that movie, but there was actually a company in the U.S. that implanted chips in their employees so that they would know what they were doing, where their locations were in like this factory, and like almost 300 employees in this factory signed on to doing it because that was the only way they could keep their jobs. Why are you okay with that? I don't. It's like it's kind of scary to think about.
what people do for money.
Yeah. The tech I wish existed today. First of all, I wish there was probably better software for recording podcasts because there's not really great software out there for it. Currently, we're using Filmora because it was pretty expensive at its time, but it's working really, really well for it. But when we have more mics right now in the studio, this is our brand new one. It's definitely be nice to have better software for that. But I think it'd be kind of cool to first of all have. I'm just gonna be a Marvel geek here for a second. Iron Man suits would be kind of dope. Just gonna throw that out there. If I could be a full-on Iron Man, I know it's completely impractical whatsoever because it's not physically possible. Because the Iron Man suit weighs like almost 2 tons if it was real, but it's still really cool.
That would be a pretty cool tech. I think if that were a real piece of tech, I think the military would have its hands on it before any civilian or any rich person ever would.
We wouldn't even know about it for 10 years after they have it.
Oh yeah, because it'd be such it'd be such a good thing for the military. I mean, I don't know if we're considering it a good thing, but it's a valuable resource for the military to have.
Yeah.
It's basically a fighter jet in a small suit that a dude can control. I'm surprised in the first Iron Man movie they didn't get a hold of it before he even had it, but okay. I don't know, any other tech that you wish existed, Corbin?
Yeah. So, I don't know the actual scientific name for it, but in the movie Ready Player One, like what they had.
Oh, the Oasis.
Movie, yes, I think something like that.
Oh my
would be
god,
cool.
That would be sick.
Because it just escapes from like the real world, and you actually get to be you for a little bit, and without like putting a face to you.
Well, I think if for the Oasis, if they did like what they did at the end of the movie in the book, I think it is in the book. I forgot. I know I read it, but if they did it where it's closed for certain days, so that way you cannot just escape this world and run away from its problems. Because that's what sort of happened in that movie and book is. The world, everybody started running and hiding from the problems, trying to outlive them instead of fixing them.
Do we know from the book that this came after or before? Like, in the movie, you can obviously see the outside environment is terrible.
This came out, in the movie, it came out like in 2025, if I'm right.
I just don't, I don't know if it happened after the fact the environment, like, took a crap, like,
After.
to get away from the environment, because how bad it was, or was it before the environment took a crap?
I think it was after.
So then it would be used to escape the environment because the environment was the way it was. Like, I don't know.
And I think the way that we could get towards that, like, I think it's really cool. It's just like what you both said is you can't get so connected to it that you're out of it. And if I'm right here, that actually jumps into our next topic, but we won't go there yet, is social media too. But you can't get immersed in that stuff where it's literally becoming your life. Like, yeah, it'd be really, really cool to do that kind of stuff, but the only way that would be a cool possibility is if they had specific times that it went on, and it was controlled by someone. Otherwise, it would be to the point where it'd just be extremely invading in how many people did things together.
So I agree with you, but then I want to say one thing is, what if, like, in the movie, let's just say the environment was really bad and it was, like, scary because there were like, people didn't go outside and do things because you couldn't. Like, why would you have days where you shut down if there's nothing to do? Like, you physically shouldn't be going outside, or...
Well, see, that's the thing, though. If it's ever going to be an actual thing, we should not let the Earth get to the point where we're literally going into a simulation because the Earth's so shit. Like, we're worried about going... We're we're going away from something and we're going into this virtual world because we're scared of literally taking off a headset to see what the real world is. Was it that bad in the movie?
Well, it was. I don't really quite remember.
It wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good. There was a lot of crises that happened before the age
outside.
of Wade Watson, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's like, okay, so they were living in like these trailer park, like stacked homes kind of situation.
Yeah. Yep.
And Jesus, disease that could spread through that kind of crap. People, they would take off these headsets and they'd just be these big, huge people that were like taken away from it, or these like drunks or druggies or that kind of stuff that would just go into it as an escape. It's like, that's pretty dang scary, honestly. All right, any other tech for you guys here? Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, I think the Oasis one, that was a good idea. I didn't think about that.
All right, so I'll go on to topic 3 here. Is social media going to kill social life? This kind of jumps on the Oasis thing, but a little bit different story here.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm not going to name all of them, but just a few of them would be like the social media platforms of Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, that kind of stuff. Instagram. These are a lot of our big, huge mainframe ones. Facebook has a lot of controversy behind privacy at this point. I hate to say it, for a lot of the people using Facebook, they are a private company. They can decide what they're doing with your privacy. You do sign a form that acknowledges they can do shit with your privacy. I know that they still had issues. Do not get me wrong. They still did a ton of crap in the background. But once you use that little acknowledgement of your user privacy, that is kind of giving away what you're doing with your data. So I would read through it more often than just kind of accepting what you do on a daily, but I don't think I ever will because I'm the same kind of person too. So let's go around the table here. We need a table now. Let's go around the TV dinner trays here, and let's talk about what social media you have and what your opinion on social media is. Let's go to Corbin here.
So I have like all the mainstream ones, like most people do, but I don't actually think it'll ever kill social life. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a way to kill social life at this point. I don't think social media can get big enough. Like, obviously most people have social media, but most people, it doesn't take up that much of their life. Like, there are some people, like kids out there, obviously it does, but I don't think you can kill social life at this point.
I would agree with that. So do you think that, I guess that really doesn't change much, but okay. John?
I do have like Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram and stuff. I really try to stay off of it because, like, I'm with Corbin, I know it won't kill it, but to some people it can be addictive and it can really be hard for some people to get off of it. So knowing that it can affect people like that, I try to stay off of it just in case, because like some of these are mainframe, like Instagram for instance, like it's coded and everything just right with all the algorithms and all that to make it where it's addictive, so you spend a lot of your time on there. Even like the makers of it, they're caught on the endless scroll.
Well, what was that?
Caught in their own algorithms.
You guys can continue at this. Oh, okay. The Social Dilemma, the 2020 film that came out on Netflix. Did either of you watch that one?
No, I don't really watch Netflix.
So that was one that came on Netflix. I never got a chance to really dive into it more. Mm-hmm. But what they were talking about is it was this entire and kind of shout out this too because it's good. I mean, I only watched one episode of it and it was really, really deep, and I mean, I was kind of scared after because of how much they actually told you, but it was neat to see. They dive into how social media is affecting your daily, and they talk about how these sites are literally built to keeping you in and reeling you into this stuff. How if you go on, say, Instagram and you're going through your different posts and stuff, and maybe you'll go out because you're going to go and like make a pizza in your house, all of a sudden that Instagram thing pops up with, hey, did you see this? Did you see this? And now you're back into it again. And they're literally getting paid to keep reeling you back into this crap. And the better social media platform, the more reeling there actually is. Which, it's kind of scary if you think about it, because I mean, even like Snapchat will do that too. They put up the big notification on your phone. You can block those out and such, but you can turn on like story notifications for people, and now you've got these notifications popping up of, hey, so and so just posted about this, or so and so posted about that. It's like, it's kind of scary how it works out. So, what do you think right now is the most vastly growing social media platform that's used the most right now? You guys can go back and forth about this, and I'll actually research it as we're here.
I think one of the most used ones is probably gonna be like Facebook or Instagram. I don't think I was gonna say add TikTok on there, but I don't think it's really growing that much.
It's kind of stopped, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think Snapchat and Instagram are the big ones. Facebook, in my opinion, isn't nearly as big as it used to be.
It's not as big as it used to be.
And it's not going to grow anymore because the new generations don't use Facebook. It's all the boomers.
That's why I put it as like one of the oldest or one of the most used ones, because a lot of the boomers and still some young people do use it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I use it, but I really think Snapchat's the big one.
It could be, yeah.
Okay, so here's the facts here. The top 7 in order right now, which is kind of really, really surprising. So the number 1 social media app right now is Instagram.
Is it really?
Oh, wow.
Which, if you guys know this, Instagram is actually run by Facebook.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. So,
yep.
If we're talking about it theoretically, Facebook kind of is the runner-up for the popular one, but it's Instagram for the most popular at the moment. So this was written on November 25th of 2020, so very recent.
Jeez.
Yeah, very scary.
I think it's fair to say, like, instead of just saying, like, since Facebook sort of owns Instagram in that way, I think it's just safe to say that Instagram instead itself is
it takes the cake.
It's just a better Facebook for younger people, really.
So then the other runners up to that, under Instagram is Snapchat, which I understand that.
Yeah, I had those
two.
Is
WhatsApp one of them?
WhatsApp is very far down on the list.
It's not like an American thing, though. That's the thing.
Well, yeah. That's why I was wondering if it's like, well, still, a lot of media isn't just going to be American, so I thought...
We control probably the vast majority of people that use social media, I imagine.
Oh, I would assume that.
I still know a lot of people across these that use other stuff. And they use like WhatsApp as their Snapchat, basically. Mm-hmm.
So the next one up here would be, comes under that, is actually YouTube.
I didn't really think of it as like a social media platform, but
I could believe it. They give you a lot. They do like all the news. And
I mean,
I just didn't think of it.
It just feels like a weird social media platform. Like, it's not like you're posting stuff. I mean, yeah, you were posting things. This is going to be on YouTube as well.
It's entertainment, though. It's not like...
Yeah, exactly. It's not like... It's not me to you. Yeah. It's like me throwing crap at everybody and hoping that someone looks at it.
Yep.
So it doesn't really gather in the social media platform, but it's considered one just because they really couldn't figure out a category for it.
Yeah.
So then the next one under that is Facebook.
Yep.
Then TikTok, Twitter, and Pinterest come in next.
I don't really use any of them. I mean, TikTok, obviously I have it, but I don't really go through a whole lot.
I don't have that. Well, I used to have TikTok. I don't have it anymore. I used to have Twitter and Reddit. I don't have any of those anymore, so I can't really relate with any of those.
I don't use either one. Reddit, I get it, and then I just forget about it. I just can never use it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Reddit was so popular for a while, and it was really out there. Like,
it's just for memes at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, at this point, I actually use iFunny more just because Reddit seems like the platform where everything is kind of scattered around and you have to keep picking through stuff. And, like, iFunny is more like you'll go through stuff, you'll see few memes and stuff, and then you can hop off of it. Like, I've just used that one more often than Reddit, I think.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, Reddit doesn't stop with things, so if iFunny doesn't, like, after it has, like, a limit or, like...
Yeah, I think so.
You hit and then you start cycling back, I think.
Yeah, it's like how many top stories there are, and then you can go off, like, different categories. But no matter what, you always run out of stuff for what they put on there. So.
I just haven't used iFunny in so long.
Like, I can agree with that. I think the last time I used it was, like, 4 months ago.
Yeah, I don't even have it anymore. Time for memes.
I used to get it all the time and look at it, but then I just stopped. So
yep.
I got rid of it.
All right, so that was social media. So put in the comment section, what social media do you think that is most influential? I know that at this point we found out it is Instagram. But what do you think is most influential in your life personally to other people around you? Do you think social media is getting a little out of hand, and or do you think that it's kind of socially boosting each other? So, all right, let's go on to our next topic here. Do we want to dive into topic number 4, or do you guys want to go off, like, I know we do, usually our random section is kind of our second podcast, so do we want to just jump to this one here, and then we can go all random topics we pick from viewers in the next one?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. All right, so John, you can start it off here.
All right, then I think this might be one of the last topics for this episode, probably.
Yes, we're topic 4 will be the last one for our first podcast here. We're currently at 40 minutes, so let's bring this podcast to
45, 50 maybe.
Yeah, let's bring this one to 50 minutes, just because we kind of went a little further in the other ones.
Sure.
And then we'll just kind of try to shorten the next one to close the gap a little bit. So.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, John.
All right, so then this last topic is, we've talked about this in the first podcast, but we're gonna sort of bring it up again because it's still an issue that we see today, but it's also something to talk about that could happen. Is COVID-19 going to be gone in 2021? And there are a lot of people that think it was just probably propaganda or something to do with the election. It's just going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
But as we have seen after the election, it's still a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that COVID has been such a daily for all of us at this point. I mean, we both work at the same place right now, and wearing masks all the time, it's kind of what we do on a daily. You're just getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the mask mandate or the mask thing in all these businesses now has just kind of enveloped everything that we do. I don't think it's going to be gone in 2021. I know that there is a vaccine out right now, and do not quote me on factual evidence here, but it's currently almost 97% effective. It's getting up the more that they get research into test trials. Is that close to what I was thinking?
Yeah, they're actually getting pretty close here to.
I knew they were pretty close. I just didn't know what percentage or how effective.
It's really close.
It's
like they've been trying it on people or there's some lab rats or whatever.
Well, the big problem now is they're figuring out how many doses to give to which states because some are asking for more.
Oh, I saw that.
Wisconsin is one of the bigger ones. We requested a lot more because of how big we are compared to like some of the smaller states that don't have as much.
Yeah, and my father works with a lot of that
mm-hmm.
stuff, CDC, that kind of thing, and it's slowly getting between that. It's teeter-tottering between that 98-99% effective rate. 97 is kind of where it was on the test trial basis, that what we're considering lab rat situation. But it's slowly getting better and better. And if you think about this, not even the regular seasonal flu vaccine is at a 98-99% effective rate. I mean, this is a vaccine that has come out almost triple as fast, and the effective rate is even better than it was before. So anyway, my opinion of it is I think that COVID won't be gone in 2021. I think the only way that it will be gone is when it gets to the point that they're kind of like, okay, here's a vaccine. Now it's kind of like this flu. We've addressed it. We've seen it. We know how to treat it. But I think the mask thing is still going to happen until it literally is getting forced upon the vaccine of people. Who's the God, what is the app? Ticketmaster? Is that who it is?
Yes, it should be. Yes.
Yeah. Ticketmaster is trying to make it so that you have to scan something now, or they're gonna actually give you a personal plastic card, not through Ticketmaster, but through hospitals, saying that you were vaccinated, and they're considering this very, very highly, so that if you go into concerts, you have to scan a card. I think it'll be the side option for not wearing a mask now is saying that you were vaccinated. I don't know how we're not calling that a mandate at that point. I think that
I'm not sure what's going to happen with the mask mandates because not everyone's still going to be vaccinated. And I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that.
I think what'll happen with it is that you either have to get vaccinated. They won't call it a mandate, but they'll basically say to you that, hey, if you're not going to get vaccinated, now you have to keep wearing a mask. And that's your personal choice because everybody around you is vaccinated. But if you don't get the vaccine, now you have to keep wearing the mask to continue on with, with your daily 6 foot distancing, that kind of stuff that you normally would.
I think something to consider about this is also the cost of what this vaccine could do for people.
Well, insurance should cover most of it, but
well, I mean,
if you don't have insurance,
if insurance doesn't, I'm just saying in this instant.
Well, there's a lot of things right now.
There's no reason it wouldn't.
What?
No, just carry on. Sorry.
Did I miss something?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You have to apologize. I don't give a crap. This podcast is just shooting the shit. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how we don't call it a mandate at that point. Even schools are actually really, really highly talking about this. Because you know how when you go into you get in that 8th grade year, and now you're going into high school, and they're like, hey, you haven't had three shots. We're pushing it this way. Otherwise, if you don't get them, now you have to come back, and you're not actually allowed to start your first year unless you get those things.
I didn't have that.
Really?
I haven't had shots since middle school at least.
I've had to do it every other year for sports.
Yeah, I've got it pushed down my throat every other year for sports.
Yeah, you have to do physical and everything. And they'll give you any shots that you need. Usually every other year they have to give you shots. 1 or 2 in the arm, not really anything. Doesn't feel like anything.
That's insane.
I think I did do... I had that happen actually. Never mind.
You might feel in your shoulder a day or 2 after, but it's nothing.
I had 1 in each shoulder, I think it was. They did it at the same time.
I had to have 3 or 4 before I went to Spain.
Oh, well, yeah. They have diseases over there.
Probably to do your passports and stuff.
Well, it was just because it was a different country, I think, that they were concerned about it, even though there still wasn't really much, so.
Yeah. I mean, I know the one thing is after I got my regular flu vaccine, I had a constant eye twitch and explosive diarrhea. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that was the scariest thing I've ever happened in my life.
All 3 of mine have been really good.
No, I've never had symptoms of them. No. I know there's a lot of we're not going to go into this, but there's a lot of controversy off of vaccines and stuff. It's just we're talking about COVID here. That's what's on the deal. So
the only thing I can see being a problem is if you don't have health insurance, like what you were going to say.
Yeah,
the cost then would be probably a little hefty because health insurance is most likely covering it all. But in situations you don't have it, then what do you do?
Because if it's a required thing, if it's a required thing for a lot of the time, people or companies or whatever that are selling this vaccine might raise the price a lot for those instances.
I don't see that happening right away.
Well, I mean,
but
not right away, but it could be do you know how there's only 1 monopoly in the market, and it's those little needles that you stick in your legs. Yeah, EpiPens.
Oh,
if they would cover increase the price of stuff like that, that's the only concern I would have for the vaccine is the costs for those without health insurance and stuff like that.
Don't worry, you guys are fine. I'm just literally listening to this so I can figure out how our audio sounds while we're doing
this. Yeah, you're fine. But yeah, I don't think they see that being a problem until maybe later on. But like I said, I don't think COVID's going to be gone in 2021. I think it'll be there, but it just won't be as much of a hassle.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be less of a concern for all of us. I think it's less of a scare. I know they're trying to get it back into the situation of actually... They're trying to make it more of that lockdown situation we had before. Also, I'm just going to say you're right. This sounds really weird through here versus there. The audio is so much different than this is too. Okay, but... No, just so spoiler alert for that. The reason why I'm saying this, this is the first time we've actually listened to a podcast as we're doing it. This new microphone actually allows us to listen to the audio, so it's interesting. But no, I think the scare will go away from it. I think that we'll have less issues and it'll be less for instance, no, I'm not gonna go that personal. I can't say it because otherwise it'll be like, hey, you. But I have people around me that are very concerned of it. to the point that we had some of our family members that were worried about coming up because of COVID. And I know this is going to sound really bad, but I feel like after you all get COVID and you're all exposed to COVID, I feel like it's less concerning for your daily life. We had a COVID thing go around our family. Don't have COVID anymore. Don't worry. It's not an issue anymore. But this was like probably 3 months ago. And we had that go around our family. And I think it's less concerning after you have it go through your family. We still had symptoms of it. No, I'm not going to say it was some walk in the park. My father had symptoms of it that were very bad. One of the people that he is closer with also had very bad symptoms of it. Not prolonged or anything. It was a few days that were very like, oh my God, that's kind of crappy. But then not so much bad symptoms off the bat, but after symptoms, like post symptoms of COVID. For instance, my father keeps having this where he'll have like this haze where things that are like okay and a normal won't be okay right now. Like for instance, he has a motorcycle and for one of the days he wanted to take it out, it was kind of this haze of how to do it and how to get it out and what he does with it and just things to do all the time. But now it's like, what the fuck's going on? So, yeah. All right. Are we going to wrap that up here with COVID?
I think so. So we'll be right back in the next podcast, and we'll probably just be answering like those little random questions that are still fun to listen to. And all from users or viewers submitted, we have tons of questions for you guys. We would love to answer.
So just a shout out for all those viewer questions here. These are ones that we're going off of from your guys' stuff. We had 30 questions that got sent into us last time off of our emails. We had probably 30 questions that got sent into us just a little bit ago. And off of our 4randomguys101@gmail.com. Again, that is 4randomguys101@gmail.com. If you guys want to send us any of your questions, shoot them out there, and we are welcome to do them. Just know that we don't do really inappropriate stuff. We have a few things that are kind of inappropriate on here, but nothing like really racist or anything. We will never, ever do that on our podcast. So send us your questions, 4randomguys101@gmail.com. And let's see you on the next podcast. This first one will be released around 4 o'clock tonight. Next one will be released around 6. And our next podcast coming out will probably be in 2 weeks, probably just before Christmas time. And with our special guest coming on the show, we're going to have Tyson on the show. And this is official. And Tyson will be getting a free cap and giving away caps to you guys as well. So thank you very much. Always remember, stay random.